Live from NBC 25 in Flint, this is Mid-Michigan Now.
Somebody asked me, would you rather be in England celebrating the state visit? I said, no, I'd rather be right here in the great state of Michigan, where people are building great products for the American people.
Vice President JD Vance back in mid-Michigan, celebrating what the Trump administration calls its successes on several fronts, including helping families and businesses in this state. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike Woolfolk. Stella is in Bay City tonight at the Longest Table event. She will join us a bit later. But we begin with the Vice President in Howell this afternoon, touring the Hatch stamping facility and speaking on a range of topics, including stopping fentanyl from coming into the country to fighting crime with the National Guard. Also, tax cuts. Here's Mid-Michigan Now's Kyle Macon.
Vice President JD Vance was back in Michigan for the second time in less than 7 months. He was once again in a manufacturing plant talking about how the one big beautiful bill will bring manufacturing jobs back to the state and just make it a better place to live.
I just love that our president and our vice president are for America and for the working people.
Jamie Samples was among the crowd today supporting Vice President JD Vance and other Republican leaders. During his remarks, Vance touched on several topics, but much of the conversation was centered around manufacturing.
Wouldn't it be nice to have an administration that punishes corporations that ship our jobs overseas, but rewards businesses for building right here in the great state of Michigan? That is what we promised to do, and that is what we're doing every single day.
The vice president says the administration is bringing manufacturing back with things like no tax on overtime, tax breaks for companies that build in the U.S., and making life more affordable.
We fought for an increase to the child tax credit because we want to make it easier for young families to bring new life into this world and to raise that new life in security and prosperity and comfort.
On security, Vance talked about securing the border and going after the cartels. And he suggested that the president could send the National Guard to help fight crime here, similar to actions taken in Washington, D.C. and Memphis, Tennessee.
Gretchen, we are happy to send the National Guard to Detroit, Michigan. All you got to do is ask.
This speech comes a week after the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Every Republican taking the stage offered condolences and asked for the end of political violence.
We do not attack or commit violence against people because we disagree with their ideas. We debate ideas, and we're going to keep on debating them in honor of the great Charlie Kirk.
Reporting in Howell, Kyle Macon.
Well, Governor Gretchen Whitmer was in Flint this afternoon, and reacting to the vice president's visit, she says the administration's policy on tariffs is creating chaos for businesses and hitting consumers in their wallets.
It's a tough time, and so I'm hopeful that as he's here, maybe he's hearing from Michigan businesses that are sharing, what that tariff chaos from D.C. means for us and our economy and our pocketbooks.
Governor Whitmer says we have lost 42,000 manufacturing jobs in the last month due to tariffs. Police tonight looking for information about a vehicle that hit a man and then left the scene. This happened around 7:45 this morning, and that is when Genesee County 911 received several calls about a man face down in the grass along Ballinger Highway between Vance Lake Road and I-69. That man was dead. He has been identified as Thomas Carroll Taylor of Flint. Anyone with information about this crash should contact Flint Township Police, or you can call Crime Stoppers. Now, we mentioned that Governor Whitmer was in Flint today. She was here to help Flint Community Schools celebrate a new building on the Brownell STEM Academy and Holmes STEM Middle School campus. And the school board is meeting there at the new facility tonight. Mid-Michigan Now's Courtney Bennett joins us live from Flint's north side. Big day for the school district, Courtney.
A very big day for Flint Community Schools. Mike, we are standing outside the Cube right here on Flint's north side. This is a big deal. This is 5,000 square feet. It's very impressive inside. One thing that makes it so impressive is that this was $42 million, and it also took more than 2 years of planning. But this is a hub for the community here on the north side. As you mentioned, Governor Gretchen Whitmer was here earlier to mark the opening, the official opening of this Cube right here. What it'll offer is it will offer after-school programming for kids, adult education for people in the community seeking their GED, different things like that. It's the first hub here in the United States. Superintendent Kevin Jones, he was very excited about this day, especially he says that this is re-energizing the pride.
The way you create it is getting their attention and bringing in new facilities and bringing in new ideas. This is the first Cube in the United States of America, right? And so bringing in these new ideas allows for that to happen. Reimagining is thinking about what is it going to take for my child to want to be in Flint Community Schools and not in other districts. That's what.
Now, this is newly reconstructed, but the school district, they also redid Brownell and then Holmes STEM Academy. There's brand new classrooms inside there as well. Mike, as you mentioned, that there's a school board happening right inside a meeting, and they are actually talking about the brand new high school. So coming up tonight at Mid-MichiganNow at 10 and 11, we'll have details on what that new high school will look like for Flint Community Schools. For now, reporting live in Flint, Courtney Bennett, Mid-MichiganNow.
All right, Courtney, thank you for the live report. Tonight, a strong show of support, strong show of opposition at the state capitol. Advocates, families, and lawmakers all pushing back against the state plan to shift how community mental health services are run. Mid-MichiganNow's Andrea Flores is in Lansing, where the Walk a Mile in My Shoes rally took place.
Right behind me on the steps of the Capitol, Michiganders came together to say no to privatizing mental health care. They say the Michigan Health Department of Health and Human Services plan to privatize mental health care will hurt the people who need help the most.
The state is proposing to shift community mental health services now run by local public agencies to private health insurance companies. Opponents say that would add red tape and cut off care for the people who need it most.
Right in the middle of some of the Medicaid cuts that we're going to receive from the federal level, now's not the time to deconstruct the safety net system that we have to take care of people.
The Walk a Mile in My Shoes rally is about raising awareness about mental health, and this year it's also about fighting privatization.
It's a significant concern. I've worked in the public mental health system for 38 years, and we need to have a safety net. And the public system is the way to do that.
Connie Conklin is the executive director of the Livingston Community Mental Health Authority. She says this rally is all about breaking stigma and having open discussions about mental health.
In the last few years, people have been more likely to come in for services than they ever have before.
Advocate Emily White with the National Alliance on Mental Illnesses in Lansing shared her personal story, saying community mental health helped her turn her life around.
They were able to provide services that I needed, not that I could only afford, because we know that that's a big difference sometimes, right? And so that made the difference between having therapy on a monthly basis as opposed to a weekly basis.
White adds that right now, the biggest thing stopping people from getting help is stigma. Jeff Patton, CEO of Integrated Services of Kalamazoo, says the state's timeline for this plan is unrealistic and dangerous.
To disrupt those systems can potentially disrupt the care for people that are being served.
Advocates say they'll continue to push lawmakers to step in and pause the state's plan. Reporting in Lansing, Andrea Flores, Mid-MichiganNow.
Well, do you know a standout business or person in Flint or Genesee County? The Flint and Genesee Group would like to hear about them to shine a light on the people and places making the community special. The 11th annual Art of Achievement Awards are coming up. They have several different award categories, including the Business Impact Award, Young Professional Leader Award, and Restaurant of the Year. Flint and Genesee Group Executive Director Amari Stewart says these are awards for the community by the community.
It's been Flint and Genesee County, but we really roll the red carpet out to celebrate and just bring some community pride to the individuals that make our community so great.
Well, nominations are due by 11:59 p.m. on Friday, October 3rd. You can submit your votes online, and we have a link to that on our website, MidMichiganNow.com. Also tonight, a historic discovery in Lake Michigan to report about. Searchers have found a cargo schooner that sank more than a century ago. The wreckage of the F.J. King is on the Lake Michigan floor. The 144-foot, three-mast ship sank during a storm in 1886 while it was moving iron ore from Michigan to Chicago. Conflicting reports about the ship's location created an unsolved mystery until researcher Brendan Baylod and his team found the wreckage in June. It's just off the Wisconsin coastline. Baylod says the ship's hull appears to be intact.